Hey, everybody, welcome again to Fostering Music one more time. But if this is your first time here in the channel, welcome home. This channel is intention to put myself into the shoes by reacting to songs from different countries, especially by those that you guys recommend to me, and then hopefully by that getting a little bit more of understanding about the world and things that we do in life and things that we live on. So, today we're gonna react to another song from Georgia. First song that I reacted from Georgia was a folk song that is very famous from three girls that they play with the guitar, and then I reacted to these people here this group called Chveneburebi. It's very hard to pronounce this word, Chveneburebi. If I'm doing it wrong, sorry. Okay, and then this another song from them was also recommended to me by one of the commenters. So yes, I'm gonna react to that song right now. So if you see in the title of this song, it's called Chakrulo by Chveneburebi, and it's called During the War at the end. So when I saw that, of course, I was looking forward to see what kind of war you're talking about. It's interesting to see how when you're far from places, how disconnected by other people you are. Of course, what I intend here is always not, I intend for a peaceful living between people. But it is hard, of course, there is many things at stake sometimes. It's very hard to keep up peace. And if I was the diplomat of the world, I would say we're gonna have to find a way to stop with those wars about resources and then just make people cultures be praised in that way. So like it would be borderless, but it would still be cultural. So it would be like you have cultural areas, but it's still no borders of influence. Or maybe it would change the way governance works. So the power would be so scattered that nobody can um, use it, unite it in order to use words. But that, of course, is a utopia that I can dream of. Anyway, so we're gonna start with this song, but I always do the preconceptions part first, so that's the part that you guys can help me with more understanding about what I know and I don't know, and correct me anyway, of course. And then we will go to the reaction. If you want to just skip to the reaction, don't want to hear me talking about that, you just can go in the timestamp for the reaction for this song. Okay, so preconceptions part. First thing, like I said in the other video, in general, Brazilians do not know anything about Georgia because we don't have any information about that part of the world here. Like East Asia and like East Europe parts, this part is very what we don't hear them. Basically, what we get here in Brazil is American culture and a little bit of European in Brazil. And actually, we're isolated even to in comparison to our friends from Latin America. For example, there are some songs in Latin America that are being successful and hits and top charts. We don't hear them in Brazil. Can you believe that? So that happens. Well, talking about Georgia, what I learned more is, of course, there is a big fight in some territories in Georgia. For example, with the Akazi part, and there's another group too in the north of Georgia, and then there is some war, but I believe that 2018 probably is about that war time. So I guess this song is more meaningful than I would expect. And I think kind of the song is a war song, but when I pull up the lyrics, I think it's about that. I didn't read it, didn't react to exactly, so I think it would be something like that. Yeah, and there is Russia on the north side, and I can understand. And one of the commenters told me that the song, well, I referred to the Georgian guitar as balalaika, and they said we don't like to be compared to Russian things and Russian names. I understand it. Of course, you have to pay attention to my ignorance when I have to say something because I don't know much. So yeah, I go for the most famous one. In that case, it would be that word. It's more spread in Brazilian culture, but of course, I will try to find the specific words in that case. But I understand. I think now I get a little bit more of the context, although I don't know much about the history itself. One thing that I know about the Georgians that I think it also holds true is that Georgians are in general Orthodox Catholic, and that would be the case. Now, one thing about Georgia that I have no idea is how old it is, because for me it seems like that place of the world is always up for grabs. Everybody wants that part of the world close to the Black Sea, so that's why probably there's so much fights inside. Well, Georgian language, for example, sounds very old. Like the way you see this written, it looks old. So maybe it's a very, for me, maybe it can be a tip of being something older than I would believe that it is. And then, of course, then we go to pieces of history that I have no recollection of. So, of course, I'm here for you guys. Guys, can you, for example, recommend me a very short folk story from Georgia so I can, those folk stories that kind of tell about the history of the country? Like in Brazil, we have some folk stories about some legends, stuff like this. So I can kind of get the feeling of what the culture is doing. Like, is it more? It's a lot more like Eurasian. It's a lot more like its own people. It's a lot more like the Romanian people, so like secluded, or is it more like we are? Well, it's hard. So if you give something like that for me, I think would be nice. Anyway, so let's go for the part that I can do it easier, which is reacting to the song and giving you my impressions of that. The song, of course, would be probably very important for Georgian culture itself. Anyway, disclaimer: I always praise the folk culture. I'm not really interested in the ins and outs of governments and wars and stuff like this. My real focus always is in the cultural manifestation of said culture. That's why I always want to talk about and see. So anyway, that's probably an old song, Chakrulo, and here we go.
Вечная слава героям! Авшим баях за свободу и независимость нашей Родины! Тере Эстония!
Estonia.
Ay, Христос, Шевграда, Билова, Чевене, Галхадет, Хавизлит, Мания, Чаухадет, Ухрана, Батонсам, Авставангриот, Бания.
So that's a polyphonic song. There's more than one chord at the same time by the voices. Are those traditional clothes from Georgia? That's Estonian. So what is the link between Estonia and Georgia? What is the link? I don't know. They are in different places. And Georgia is like south, and Estonia is up north. Ah, okay, because it was done in Estonia. I think that's the case, right? It was sung in Estonia. I really like this shift on the sound. No, interesting. It is a song, but it sounds like a video, something more religious. So I guess it has a deep meaning for sure. So they're going together. So I guess probably this is the most important part of the chain.
Lots of thanks to Estonia for your support.
Okay. So I think, of course, being from another continent, when you hear that, one thing that you can hear is like, these guys are serious, this song is very important, and everybody is like silent, paying homage and stuff. So, if I would have to say something, it's like probably this song it was in a tough time, and I can see that. Like, it makes sense for me being that important. I said that this song looks like a video because well, in times of war, everything that is related to security and safety and looking for the future and the right to live, those things are, well, part of everyday life. I think Brazil is in a very privileged space in that regards, because we as a country, we do not have these feelings. Like, it's very hard for us to think about wars in that sense. Some people would say that that is a privilege, some people would say that is a curse, because in Brazil some people would say like, yeah, that's why people in Brazil are so, I don't know, not so tough. But I don't think so. I think the biggest reason why in Brazil we don't have such a difficult thing with that is that we're made of a lot of cultures mingled together. The only place you could feel a big resentment in Brazil if you are indigenous, from the indigenous population, because I think the indigenous population in Brazil, and of course part of me is also indigenous for sure, they would feel like threatened by that, by our life in Brazil. Anyway, like the immigrants and the Portuguese people in the history, everything. Yeah, so I think I cannot connect so much with the feelings, but even though I'm not connecting on 100%, I kind of feel it, like feel this anger, I wouldn't say anger, it's like a feeling of desperation, and then you're thinking about anxiety, and then there's some utter feeling that's coming from belonging and not being aware of the future. So I guess when you're not so much aware of the future, you actually bond even better. Now, of course, this channel you'll not see anything based on like I'm gonna be in favor of this or that one, because my thorough understanding about wars is basically made by people in power trying to get advantage in one point or another, and the conflicts between people sometimes are so minor that people can be connected by other things besides those minor things. Like being a Brazilian, we're not exposed to Georgian culture, so basically nothing. This flag I know a little bit about because I searched it, but if you ask for a random Brazilian, they would not even know where Georgia is in the map. But although that is a fact, I can connect with the people and their suffering. So I think, and I would hope, that in the future we have something less tense as we have today regarding land position and power grabs and stuff like that. Anyway, but that's of course very utopic on my side, I know, and it's just a wishful thinking that I have. Anyway, we're gonna go to the lyrics because of course I can't understand the chant. I can't understand it. I'm calling it a chant instead of a song because I think it is more like that. It is like a very folkish traditional singing. Is there like a cultural fact where this song was created from? Because Georgia probably was invaded by many countries throughout history because of the Black Sea and how important it would be, like for movements and stuff. That was a song that was created by old people, like old history, Chakrulo, and then it was sung again. You guys can tell me in the comments if that is the case. I will read a little bit more of it. So here is the English translation of what was sung. Let's make a promise in Kiristav. That's a city, I guess. Let's become brothers. Let's attack Mukrambatoni. It's another place, right? And destroy the roof above his head. In the servitude of Mukrambatoni, I could not even fill a godori with flour. Godori is a food, I guess, because flour. I could not grow a calf. I could not mash wheat. O sword forged in Kievzuresti, a Tashetian pained in New Tel Aviv. My god, so many words that I don't know. That's probably a city. This is a style, I guess. King Erekle consecrated you. He drew a cross upon you before the battle. Like across the Georgian cross, I guess. Come, enemy, oppress me, I won't cry. Well, that's cool. Crying is only for women. I mean, I have been through this multiple times, but I have never complained. Let me sharpen my sword. I will fight you with my sparkling sword and rifle, and make you harvest everything you sowed for me. Yeah, that is totally a battle song. I can see it. This part here is actually it's a battle song. People marching in the war. I don't know how much this song meant for you guys in wartime and history time. But of course, this song is making me think a lot more about Georgia, and for that I would thank you guys who have gave me, like I said, I want something more focused, talk about history, talk about stuff like this, and you guys provided me with the exact one. Actually, I'm leaving this video with more questions that I came. First I came with questions like this: where Georgia is here and Georgia has this kind of behavior and customs, and now I'm thinking, what about the history of Georgia? Is that very old civilization? That not old? That was independence. Where is it? So I have so many questions right now. I'm gonna just end this video. I'm gonna search out what is this exactly word. Kyivstad. Maybe it's a city. Kyivstad. I'm gonna search for it, and then I will see later what is it about. Well, thank you guys for recommending that for me, and of course, if you guys liked my reaction here, thank you. Maybe you should leave me a like, a subscribe. But of course, I want this comment so you can tell me if I'm wrong in any way and give me more recommendations on more songs from Georgia. So I'm really interested to see what more can we have. I kind of believe that this kind of chant that they're doing is like the polyphonic idea. It's like a common, more cultural way Georgian people do it. Yeah, that was pretty cool. Hope you guys are doing well. I wish you all the best. And if you want to continue with me in this journey, discovering songs from all over the world by reacting to those songs from those countries, anyway, hop along, subscribe, and I will see you guys another day with another song from another country. Bye bye.